Happy Camper Radio, episode 42. Come on, let's go camping. And here we are again. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place you need to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about here on this show. Our phone number is 404-537-CAMP. That's 404-537-2267. You can call us anytime with your camping questions, your comments, your concerns, or even if you have a show idea, something that you would like for us to talk about here on the program, definitely give us a call and leave us a voicemail message. I'm not going to waste any time here getting our campfire lit, because this past week, my friends, we have had some temperatures that were, the best way to describe this was unbearable. In a lot of areas, we had temperatures with wind chill factors of 50 below zero. And friends, I want to say this, I've never mentioned this before, but if you enjoy wintertime camping and you go out and get caught up in those kind of temperatures, the best thing for you to do is pack your gear, pack up your family, anybody in your camping party, and head on home. Get into an environment that is going to be comfortable for you. And if you're going out camping and you say you want to go in a cabin this time of year, that's all right. That's one thing, because you're going to have all the necessary comforts to get you through that type of environment. But to risk yourself being out in the brisk cold temperatures, friends, it's just not worth it. I know this past week we have had some flight delays. We have had flight cancellations. We've had folks without power, even in their own home. Folks running to the store to buy generators, to buy any type of heating supply that they possibly could, because they were preparing for some really bad weather. And speaking of generators, that's what's going to be our topic of discussion here today on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Don't forget, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. Of course, you can access any one of our social media sites very simply by going to our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. I want to take a moment now to give some shout-outs here to some people who touched base with us this week, to Chris Gore, to Ali Spagnola, who are following us on Twitter, and also to Tino Triste, who added us to circles on Google+. Thank you all so very much for touching base with us and joining us here for this special episode of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Do you own a generator? Have you thought about buying one for camping purposes, for household use, or maybe if you're doing some work around the house? You know, generators do provide a useful service. Folks do use them for camping. I have done so in the past. I have the generator here, which I use around the home. And again, you know, you can find generators out there at different locations on work sites where electrical service is just not available. But if you're going to get a generator to use for camping purposes, you've got to know, first of all, what type of generator to buy and what you're going to be using it for. Generators can be found at your local building supply stores. You can get handheld models. They're, for the most part, very portable. They provide about 1,000 to 2,000 watts of electricity. You have your much larger generators, like the one I have, which is on wheels, and it provides anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 watts of power. And then you have these permanent installs, and I have seen some of these in some areas before that are often hit by storms where power and electricity go off. Folks spend an awful lot of money to have a generator permanently installed at the side of their home, and it's usually in a large container. It is perfectly designed for home use only. And, you know, they do provide, like I say, a very good service. Now, let me talk about this one generator that I have. And I bought this one back in I'm going to go back a ways, folks. Back in 1998 when I bought my truck camper. The truck camper that I have sits on my truck, and right now it is sitting at the side of my house. And I have not used it in a very long time. I plan to get it fixed up and get it sold because there was a time in my life where I went from primitive camping to truck camping. And I had this camper on the top of my truck, and I carried it everywhere I went. And keep in mind, folks, back in those days, gasoline prices were about $1 a gallon. Yes, those were the good old days. Anytime that you put something like that on your truck that weighs a lot of, provides a lot of weight in excess pounds that you're going to be carrying with you, you're going to be burning a lot of fuel. And with gas prices in our area, in fact, I just filled up today, $3.13 a gallon. I've seen worse. Of course, I have seen better too. So if I'm going to take this camper out today, it's going to cost me a lot of money, especially if I'm going to be going on a long trip somewhere. But for the most part, I have already trimmed back. I have decided, there came a point in my life where I really missed the primitive camping, and I go out camping now in a tent. No other way. So yes, I'm in the process of getting this camper fixed up and getting it sold, and somebody else who may enjoy that type of camping lifestyle will hopefully will be able to put it to good use. When I bought that camper, I bought a generator to go along with it. When I ordered this camper from the factory, I had the option of having a generator installed in it. I was going to be looking at about a $3,000 price difference if I had gone that route, because the generators that are designed for those type of campers cost a lot more money than, say, the generators that can be found at a local building supply store. The generator I have provides about 5,000 watts of electricity. It is very large, and it is very loud. It can power an RV, air conditioning system, a refrigerator, and it serves just that purpose. What I did is I had a pull-along trailer on the back of my truck in addition to the truck camper. And I had this generator attached to the pull-along trailer. So if I was parked somewhere, say at a rest area someplace, and I needed to go ahead and fire up that generator, I had a very heavy-duty extension cord that ran from the area of the camper where you normally would plug in at a campsite, and I ran that extension cord all the way back to the generator, and I had it plugged in, and it was able to power up my air conditioning system. It could run my refrigerator, freezer inside the camper. It did everything I needed it to do. For some folks, I would not encourage this, and I would check with the local laws and the state laws wherever you're going. Some people do allow passengers in their vehicle to ride in the back of a truck camper while it is going down the road. It is not the safest thing to do, folks. But again, if you do that, you need to first of all find out if that is legal. And if you are going to be doing that, you need to make sure, too, that if you have an air conditioning system running that is powered by an onboard generator or a generator like I had that you pulled behind you, that there is proper ventilation, because the generators in all sizes and shapes do release carbon monoxide fumes. And carbon monoxide is what is known as the silent killer. It is deadly. Now, there are some safety issues to be concerned about when you are buying a generator, when you are operating a generator. Again, they do produce carbon monoxide fumes. So anytime you're operating a generator, it's got to be in a well-ventilated area. Ventilation must be considered in all cases. When you buy a generator, hopefully you're going to buy one that is brand new. I don't like to buy things used. In some cases, yes, I will find a used product that I can use, but that'll provide some sort of good use to me. But a generator is just like electrical equipment. It's like buying a brand new blender. It's like buying a coffee pot. I would not want to buy a secondhand coffee pot. I would not want to buy a secondhand generator. So if you're going to buy one, it's going to come with a manual. You're going to want to read that manual and follow all of the safety recommendations that are included. Read it once, read it twice, read it again when you get an opportunity, because you are operating a piece of equipment that could be considered very dangerous in a number of different ways. Anytime that you use a generator, you want to make sure you have a heavy-duty outdoor extension cord to go along with it. A cord that is grounded. It has 3 prongs on one end of the cable. You want to check the entire length of that cable each and every time you use it. You're going to be looking for tears. You're going to be looking for exposed wires. If you find out that you have any of those unforeseen problems with your extension cord, you do not want to use that. Go out and buy another one. Remember, folks, your generator produces electricity, and electricity can be very deadly. Check the entire cord, like I say. Make sure that you are operating your generator with dry hands. If your hands are wet, you do not need to be touching that generator, because water conducts electricity. You never want to refuel a generator while it is hot. Always, in every instance, make sure that you allow your generator to cool down before you refuel. If by chance you have a hot generator and you are attempting to put fuel back in it, if you are not careful, that gasoline spills on the manifold or spills on another hot part of the engine. It could ignite a fire, and you're right there. You don't need to be rushed to the hospital with 2nd or 3rd degree burns. It's just not worth it, folks. So definitely follow all of the safety precautions that are indicated in the manual provided by the manufacturer. Also, you want to operate in dry conditions only. If you're going to operate a generator outdoors, you need to operate it in a well-covered area. Never operate in the rain. If you take your generator outside and it's, say it's like weather like we're having here in the southeast right now, there's hardly a cloud in the sky. That's one thing. But if you're going to be operating in an area where there's the potential for precipitation in the air, rain, snow, whatever the case may be, make sure that your generator is covered in some way, shape, or form, so those elements do not affect its operation. When you store a generator at home, you want to store it in a dry, enclosed area. My generator right now is sitting in my garage, a good place for it. In fact, it's about the only place right now that I have to put it. But occasionally, I will bring that generator out. I will pull it into the driveway. It's away from the home, and I will test it. I will run it periodically just to make sure it is still running. And again, the manufacturer's recommendations will tell you change the oil. They'll tell you how often to do that, how often to clean the spark plug. And if you're not mechanically inclined, take it to some place where they can do these tests for you and maybe change your oil out. It's very simple to do. Most people that do buy generators probably do the work themselves. So, make sure that you consider safety in everything you do, not just at the campsite, but also at home. Remember, if you're using a generator for whatever purpose, make sure that you follow the manual and follow the safety recommendations carefully. I cannot say that enough. Now let's talk about generators for camping purposes. Most generators used for camping will come with the RV. Again, when I bought my truck camper, I had the opportunity to buy a generator. I chose not to, because for as often as I was going to be using it and for what I was using it for, it really would have not been cost effective for me. So I kind of stayed away from that. When I did find a need for a generator, I found an alternate way of powering the equipment in my camper, and that was by hauling the generator behind me in a pull-along trailer. The generators that come with most of your RVs and campers today are known as whisper generators or quiet generators. They're not really that loud as, say, some of the generators that you would buy at a home improvement center. Of course, they cost a lot more money to build, and you're going to be paying for that convenience. Now, most of these generators will come mounted in a compartment in the trailer, the RV, or the motorhome when you buy it. It is perfectly designed for that. All the safety precautions have been taken. The manufacturer has found a way to make sure that the fumes that come from that generator will not enter the living compartment of, say, your RV or your motorhome, or whatever you're going to be using it for. So, those things are already taken into consideration. There are gas-powered and propane-powered generators. And again, like I say, these generators are quiet. They're designed specifically for the purpose of camping, and they are put inside that unit. And again, they generally cost more. Again, all of the exhaust measures were considered ahead of time at the factory. So if you're going to be taking an RV, and let's just say you're going to be custom designing it on your own, you need to make sure that your exhaust levels are going to be outside of the camper and not inside in any way, shape, or form, again, because they can be extremely deadly. The many of the public campgrounds, I do want to point out too, prohibit the use of generators in any way, shape, or form, because they are loud and they are annoying. Even your whisper generators, if you are parked at a public campground somewhere and you're not too far away from somebody and you are powering that generator, it can be annoying to folks on either side of you and possibly on the other side of them. So you're going to want to check with your public campground to see, first of all, if generators are permissible at your campground. A lot of the folks who do own campers, RVs, and motorhomes will choose a site that has electrical hookups. And once you pull into one of those sites, you're going to pay a little bit more money for those areas. But again, it's going to be worth it. And this way, the use of a generator is not going to be required in any one of those locations. So if you have an RV, a camper, or another form of what am I trying to say here? I want to call it a place to park yourself at a campground. Whatever you're going to be using, all right, try to select a site that has electrical hookups. And this way, you'll be able to power your television set. In some cases, I've seen some of these travel trailers and even motorhomes that have satellite television. They park the satellite dish right outside their camper, and I imagine there's a manual or something that tells you how to go ahead and aim that so you get all those great television channels that you normally would be getting at home. And you'll be able to power that just right up there at the campsite just by hooking up to their electrical service. Those are what I understand are called full hookups. This is where you're going to have not only your water, you're going to have electrical service, and you're also going to have sewage there too. So if you have, your toilet system inside your camper, and you want to make sure that you be able to go ahead and dump that wastewater down the sewer pipe and bring fresh water into your camper, your pop-up, your RV, or whatever you're using. Again, you're going to pay a little bit more money for that, but it's going to be well worth it for you. And of course, most of those sites, again, are going to provide the electrical hookups that you need to get you through your camping experience. Now, you can also use generators for your home use. And I have mine here that I have on standby right now, just in the event there's something may happen that the power goes out, that I have to power up some appliances inside the home and do that in a way that I can just basically get by until the power is restored. Now, generators can power lights. They can power up small appliances like radios and televisions. And the larger generators like I have can power up a standalone freezer. That is very important also, because if you have a freezer at home, and let's say it's loaded down with maybe $300 or $400 worth of perishable meat products, and your power is going to be out for a day or two, you stand the possibility of losing all of that food that you had in your freezer, because in 2 or 3 days, it's going to thaw out. It is going to spoil. So the generator I have, which powers, about 5,000 watts, will work comfortably for a standalone freezer. Again, you're going to want to use it in a well-ventilated area that is away from the home. You never, under any circumstances, want to operate your generator in a garage. Even if the garage is, say, attached to your home and you've got the door between, say, your kitchen and your garage, and you've got that shut and it's sealed up tight, there's still the possibility that those deadly carbon monoxide fumes are going to enter into the home. So take your generator, find a place that is well ventilated away from the home, and that's where you can conveniently and safely operate the generator to power up whatever you're going to be powering. Here's another thing. Never, ever do you want to plug directly into a home outlet. This is not only dangerous, but it is also illegal. This is what they refer to as backfeeding. If you were to plug your generator into a wall outlet, hoping that you're going to get power into every part of your home in the absence of electricity, say during a storm, first of all, do you know exactly how much power that you're going to be required to pull from your generator? It may not be able to conveniently and efficiently power every one of those appliances inside your home, including your air conditioning system, your furnace, let's just say your television, your deep freeze, with your refrigerator, anything else. So, if you don't know what you're doing there, you definitely need to stay away from that. So, never backfeed electricity, because here's what else can happen too. While the power may be out at your residence, if you power up that generator and you backfeed it into your home, not only are you feeding it into your home, you're feeding it back through the power line up to the power pole where the electricians and the linemen may be working, and you could cause them to be electrocuted. It's something you do not want to do, and again, it is illegal. So if you're going to be using a generator at home for the purpose of powering whatever inside your residence, you need to make sure, first of all, that you have a transfer switch installed. You need to also make sure that the power that you're going to be pulling from that generator is sufficient for everything that you want to be operating inside your home while the power is out. Have a qualified electrician come out and install a transfer switch for you. Never, under any circumstances, do you want to backfeed into your home. For myself, all I need to really do is power the refrigerator. I will find other ways to keep warm while I'm inside the home. I mean, if you're going to go camping, you've got to expect sometimes you're going to be faced with some different elements out there that are not going to be too pleasant. So you put a fire in the fireplace, maybe put on a sweater, bring out a few extra blankets, bundle up. But if you're going to have a generator to power up your refrigerator or some other crucial piece of equipment that is going to be necessary to operate during an outage, then you definitely want to make sure that, number one, your generator is away from your home, it's operated in a well-ventilated area, that you have a heavy-duty extension cord that you have already checked out, that you're going to be running it from that appliance directly to the generator. I can't say it enough, folks. It's very, very important. You can use generators, again, for camping purposes. You can use them at home. You can use them at work. But also understand the dangers that are involved with them. Some people have been using generators for years and never had a problem. For those of you who are camping that have generators installed on your RV, your motorhome, your travel trailer, whatever, you've probably already had the operating instructions preached to you, probably by your spouse, or you've taken the time to go through them yourself to make sure that you understand the safety measures. You also understand, too, that when you get into a camping situation where you have other campers around you, you know that you want to keep that generator turned off. You know it can be annoying if you're standing outside of your RV. Let's just say you're sitting at the picnic table having lunch, and that generator is running. Even if it's a whisper or a quiet generator, it may well be annoying to you. And if it's annoying to you, you know quite well it's annoying to the people sitting next to you. But if you want some information on generator safety, we have a link on our website. Just go to our homepage at www.happycamperradio.com. In the upper right-hand corner of the page, click on Skip's Corner, and it's under the link section, and you can find it right there. Take some time to read up on generator safety. It's time now for our featured campground of the week, right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. After this past week, I've got to admit, folks, I am ready for some warmer temperatures. And if I'm going to go camping this time of year, it's most likely going to be at a spot that is operating year-round. And what is so wrong with traveling down to the south part of Florida? And where should I? No, this is probably going to be up in the northern part. But anyway, it is the Alexander Springs Recreation Area. It is a beautiful camping destination that you may want to consider if you are into some temperatures that are probably a little more comfortable than you're used to right about now. The Alexander Spring Recreation Area is located in the Ocala National Forest near the beautiful turquoise waters of Alexander Springs. Alexander Springs is among 27 magnitude springs in Florida, and it's by far one of the easiest for visitors to enjoy. The water is a constant 72 degrees with an extraordinary clear and sandy bottom. One of the other things I want to point out too, folks, and I had an opportunity to go through this the website here before I decided to feature it this week. Every one of these sites are non-electric. So if you're bringing in your pop-up camper, your RV, your motorhome, you've got to keep that in mind. There is a number here at the bottom of the page, and you can call that number there and speak to somebody and see what their rules and regulations are with operating generators inside their particular park. Again, you want to keep your, the comfort level for everybody in mind, and you got to also keep in mind too that just about every campground, whether it be a public campground or a private campground, is going to have quiet hours, which means that's going to be around the time where folks begin to settle down for the night, maybe bed down for the night. And, you need to be considerate of your fellow campers there. Fishing and canoeing are also popular outside the swimming area. Anglers can bring a rod and reel, head down to one of the platforms along the river, or along the trail rather, and drop a line in the Alexander Run. Day hikers will appreciate a short, interpretive trail on a boardwalk over the spring and through the palm trees. There's a lot of things to see here, folks. Also keep in mind, alligators are in the area, so you need to make sure you keep a special eye on your pets. None of your pets are allowed to be left at the campsite unattended. Be a responsible pet owner. A lot of great amenities and activities out there. They've got canoeing, concessions, an amphitheater, firewood, flush toilets, a general store, ice making machine, parking area, picnic shelters. It is a great camping destination, and there's a lot of things within 10 miles. Some of the amenities out there, like a bank and a grocery store, restaurants, you can find them a short drive away. But it's a great camping destination this time of the year. If you feel like heading south, whether it be now, in the summertime, in the fall, the spring, this campground is open year-round. It's a great place to go camping. It is the Alexander Springs Recreation Area, located in Florida, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as always, my friends, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, by all means, drop me an email, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and make sure you include a link to the campground's website so we can include it on our homepage under the featured campground tab. We're always looking for some great camping destinations. If you've been to one out there that you think we ought to visit, please send it along to us. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no question about it, my friends, you can be one too. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I've had a great episode, and hopefully the weather is going to be improving here a little bit down the road so we can all get back there and enjoy the great outdoors in some temperatures that we can really appreciate. We'll catch you next week, folks. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.